Okay, so we've got to what extent do you agree or disagree? So we've got a nice one. I like it. What extent do you agree or disagree? So it's an argument. It's opinionated. You need to tell me what you think. You need to convince me why what you think is correct. So this is my favorite type of essay, because I don't know if you can ever tell, but I like an argument. I like a good debate. So you don't need to necessarily discuss both sides of the issue, as long as you argue and support the side that you're arguing to, okay? Because it's a to what extent. So it's sort of a saying that basically you can say like, I 100% agree, I 50-50 agree, I don't agree at all, okay? The most high-level answers will give the opposing point of view in order to explain why it's wrong. But that's sort of the most advanced sort of task achievement you can do. Let's look at the topic. In many countries, children are engaged in some kind of paid work. Some people regard this as completely wrong, while others consider it as valuable work experience, important for learning and taking responsibility. What are your opinions on this? Okay, work experience. Work experience or part-time jobs. This is such an interesting thing, because I don't know if this is like a cultural difference in Asia, but in the UK, it's so common to have a part-time job. You know, I know a lot of my friends, they started getting a part-time job when they were like 14, 15, just to earn some extra money, like pocket money to go shopping with their friends or buy birthday presents and stuff. It's actually compulsory in the UK. Every child who is age 15 or 16 does a compulsory unit we call work experience, where you have to go and do an internship at some company. You don't get paid for it, but you're supposed to go do 2 weeks of work experience, and that's a part of and everyone does it. It's part of the national curriculum. You have to go do it. So I did mine at a dog shelter. Like I did 2 weeks of working with dogs when I was 16 to fulfill that part of my school. So it's such a normal thing in the UK, and so there's a lot of emphasis in the UK on things you do outside of school, because the understanding is, especially when you're applying to universities and things like that, that it's not just your academic grade that's important, it's also your extracurriculars. And I've noticed in countries I've been to, in China, in Japan, it's really not so common for people to be involved in work or to have work experience or volunteering. So I don't know if that's like an interesting cultural difference. So I would be interested to read essays on this topic to see what South Korean candidates think about this. So let's have a look at what this candidate's opinion is. It is true that many children spend time in paid work in many countries. While it is sometimes argued that children can learn, I don't know why this is passive, can learn responsibility and gain work experience. I disagree with this idea. Okay, so this doesn't reason, because we've got a while. While it is sometimes argued that children can learn responsibility and gain work experience, comma, I disagree with this idea. Okay, this needs to be linked because we've got the while here. Okay, I disagree with this idea. Okay, so positives. 1, they've given me an opinion. Check, check. Okay, I like that. They have explained, the background and the sort of general topic of the article. That's fine. What I would have liked to see them do here is for them then to sort of give me the why you disagree, or your sort of what I call your subtopics. Okay, so what are the kind of specific things you're going to talk about in the rest of your essay? Okay, so I think overall, okay, like not too bad. On the one hand, there are arguments in favor of working with children. Working with children is someone working with children. So for example, I'm a teacher, I work with children. I want a career where I'm working with children. So you could be like a children's doctor or a nanny or a babysitter, okay? There are arguments in favor of children working, okay? Should be the answer. One of the main reasons can be that children can be learned. Again, we've got this weird passive, can learn about independence and responsibility. This means that children experience how to earn money. Oh, no, wait, sorry, that's my mistake. How earning money is difficult. No, apologies, candidate, your sentence was correct. How earning money is difficult. Another reason can be that it is important for learning economy. Okay, but this one is not correct. Another reason can be that it's important for learning about the economy. For example, young people can understand from how to make money to how to consume it. Okay, you don't consume money. Consume either means literally eating. That's one meaning of consume. The other meaning of consume is like a consumer, like someone buying things. How to make money or how to spend it, or, you know, I think that's what they mean. Okay, this is fine. What I like about this is that they're kind of explaining a little bit about their logic and their reason is independence and responsibility. How earning money is difficult. I would have liked to have seen them expand this a little bit more and give some more specific examples about what they mean, okay? So it could be something like, one of the main reasons can be that children can learn about independence and responsibility. For example, by working part-time in a shop, children can learn about how to be punctual, organized, come on time for work, and how to be polite and deal with customers. It also means that children can experience how earning money is difficult and the value of hard work. As a result, children may learn to be more careful with their money and understand the importance of saving and not spending money on unnecessary items. A specific study by UCL showed that teenagers who had a part-time job had more savings in old age than teenagers who didn't have a part-time job. Okay, so can you see there how I sort of explained and described and gave examples a bit more than what this candidate has done? What this candidate has done is okay, but I would describe this as sort of like the bare minimum of explaining your answer. You've given me two sort of relevant points. You've explained it a little bit. You've got a topic, okay? But to get those higher levels, I want to see more specific examples. I want to see you link it to things. I always tell my students to give a fake study. I always say a study by UCL found that yeah, so something like that. So I think this what this candidate has written in terms of argument is okay, but it can be developed more. The other thing I would say is this candidate in terms of grammar is writing in very short sentences. Their sentence structure is very basic. We've got the linking, comma, sentence, and then we've just got the basic sort of simple sentence here. So I would like to see more sort of complexity of sentences. So I think this is going to affect their grammar score a little bit. Let's move on. On the other hand, in my view, children should not be engaged in paid work. Okay, what I like about this, they've got their opinion, we've got our linking word, we've got a slightly more complex, a different sentence structure, because we've got a nice little opinion here. I think that's fine. Firstly is believe that young people should go to school for learning society and knowledge which is essential for life. For learning society, you can't really learn society. For learning about society. For learning society and again, gaining knowledge which is essential for their life. This is kind of vague. I would have liked to have seen them be a bit more a bit more specific, which is essential for living a successful life or essential for learning practical life skills or something like that. For instance, some students who do not have any study habits suffer from adopting school and study subjects, especially mathematics, in their adolescence. I don't know what they mean by it, from adopting school. For instance, some students who do not have any study habit suffer from adopting school and study subjects, especially in mathematics in their adolescence. Okay, I like the word adolescence is a good word, but I'm not really sure what this candidate means. This might be a cultural thing. This might be a different. I'm not really sure what they mean. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I guess, are they trying to say that if you don't have good study habits when you're younger, when you get to a teenager, you can no longer study well? Is that what they're trying to say? that this sentence is vague. I'm not really sure what this candidate means. Thus, if young students decide not to go to school due to their paid work, there will be a risk of insufficient opportunities for getting a better life when they grow up. Ooh, insufficient opportunities. What a fancy phrase. Nice. Secondly, most children are likely to expose risks at workplace. For example, there are a lot of children have injuries every year. A lot of children who get injured every year. Therefore, governments and adults should be responsible for encouraging children to go to school or visit museums. Okay, I can see this is kind of like a random thought. When did we start talking about museums? It's a bit of a random thing to throw in there. Then we've got a conclusion. In conclusion, it seems to me that is more important to go to school. In conclusion, it seems to me that it is more important to go to school or experience other activities for children than to work early. Okay. My issue with this essay is just kind of like the paragraph structure is odd, you know. On the other hand, in my view, this should all be one paragraph. This thus here should be attached here, okay? Because you're explaining your counterpoint. So that should all be kind of together. Okay, like some good vocabulary, a little bit of vague sentences. I'm not really into the paragraph structure. I always tell my candidates, really in IELTS, you never task 2, you don't need more than 4 paragraphs. Introduction, body 1, body 2, and then conclusion. Okay, that's all you need in an IELTS task 2. Don't worry about having to write. I mean, some questions you might want to do a body 3. If you have time, if you're a fast writer, if you think the question needs it. But in 98% of essays, you only need 4 paragraphs, okay? And then that allows you to spend a bit more time thinking about your vocabulary and a bit more time planning. So I'm a little bit finding this 3 paragraph structure a little bit odd, because it's like stuff on the one hand, on the other hand, also on the other hand, that should all be together in 1 paragraph. Okay, so if I was marking this one in terms of task achievement, I'm like, okay, they've done like a reasonable good job of addressing all parts of the task. They do present a relevant position. They do present a conclusion. Some of their ideas are underdeveloped. So for task achievement, I would want to give maybe like a 5.5. For coherence and cohesion, they don't always paragraph logically. They don't always use substitution. There's a sort of some organization. I would want to give a sort of a 5.5. Vocabulary, to be honest, I thought they made a decent attempt at the vocabulary. There was actually quite a few vocabulary words in here that I liked. Some of them wasn't quite used correctly. Like from adopting school and learning society was a bit odd. So a couple of mistakes, but they did have some good vocabulary in there. So I would want to say, I'm thinking this is sort of fitting solidly in that 5.5 range. Their issue, especially with grammar, is they're only using a limited range of structures, and they but it does cause a little bit of difficulty for me to read them. So I'd want to bump that down to sort of a 5.0. So overall, I think a sort of a solid 5.5 essay definitely has the potential to go up to a 6. What I would tell this candidate is that I would say, first off, sort out your paragraphing. Next, work on sort of giving me more specific examples. And definitely work on your sentence structure. Your sentence structures, okay? Work on your complex sentences. So you're not stuck with a whole paragraph where you just have sort of 1 or 2 types of sentence structure, okay? That's really going to bump up your grammar score. But I think there's a lot of potential in this essay. I really did like how this candidate, their argument was very logical, and it made sense to me, because a lot of candidates for this kind of question can sort of give you very sort of odd responses. They did come up with a very logical, reasonable argument, which I think was fine. They just need to work on their structure and their complex sentences. I think this candidate has the potential to get up to a 6 or higher if they work on those kind of key areas for sure.